In the world of Austin Rover, there are many metros. Luxury metros, intrepid metros, normal metros, and weird ones. But there is one series of metros that have flown under the radar, the ultimate metros. These metros were created by Wood Pickett. It inhabits a world of mystery. Of all of the incredible converters of the 20th century, a company that led the luxury mini revolution and made some of the most out there and successful Range Rover conversions we've ever seen. But in the 1980s, Wood Pickett was searching for another model to add to their portfolio. As the Mini aged and the Range Rover market got more crowded, they needed to diversify or die. And with the launch of the new Mini, the Mini Metro, the perfect gift from British Leyland was given to the firm. And with that, two of the greatest names in British motoring history would come together in the early 80s to make the ultimate Metro. This is the story of the Wood Pickett Laser Metro and Metro Plus, the forgotten ultimate BL hot hatches. Hello everybody and welcome to this video on the ultimate Metro. If you're not subscribed already, please make sure to do so. It really does help me out and you get to see more of this. More history videos, more cars and classics uncovered, and more projects. This video is on one of the most mysterious Wood Pickett cars ever made, its history, its unlikely owners, including the Sultan of Brunei, and where they all are now. Do you have any Metro memories? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like the video if you liked it and share if you want other people to see it. But without further delay, let's get into this video on the Laser Metro. Back in the 1960s and 70s, Wood Pickett had been killing it. Their adoption of the luxury minis with their Mini Margrave had given the business a boost, a stratospheric rise that outpaced the original Radford Minis. In the 70s, Wood Pickett advanced further with their Range Rovers, the Sheer Rover series, all bespoke, all luxury, aiming towards the highest end of the market. And this worked. Wood Pickett expanded and emerged as one of the greatest of the era. But as the years passed, Wood Pickett knew they couldn't just stand by and continually cash in on models from previous decades, even if British Leyland refused to update them. The Mini was an exception. At the time, British Leyland were in the process of updating the Mini with ADO 88, which later would become LC8, spawning the Metro we all know of today. This was to be the car that would breathe new life into an ailing British Leyland, reviving its fortunes with a hope it would be the car that would lead them to profitability once again. The much hyped Metro and its prototypes were all over the press, talked up by Michael Edwards, BLMC's then chairman, the marketing machine and public's curiosity. The next question was, how could BLMC, a company on the brink, top the industry's golden boy from its golden era, the Mini? This would also be a direct challenge to Wood Pickett. They were in danger of being left behind. As the sun appeared to be setting on one of their most successful models, Wood Pickett would naturally pick its successor, in the hopes that it would succeed its iconic Mini Margraves. The Metro was slated to launch in late 1980, with a brand new state-of-the-art section of the Longbridge plant dedicated to its assembly. It was hoped it would fly out of the factory and the showroom door. Wood Pickett, craftsmen to the motor industry, wasted no time getting their hands on two Metros before anyone else. But this is where it gets complicated. Before this, BLMC were working on a continuation of their Plus parts catalogue, formerly British Leyland ST, using the Metro as a basis for the Plus version, known as the Metro Plus. Development on this car was halted in the end, but it appears the name, decals and many other specifications were passed over to Wood Pickett. Could they have bought the project from British Leyland, giving them the crucial access needed to be the first to market? When Wood Pickett received the pre-production models, they were quieter and more refined than the Mini, which was to be expected, but the team still had much they could improve on. This time it was a bit different. They wanted two models that could be bought from a catalogue, but with infinite customization as an option as well. In typical Wood Pickett style, their aim was to take the Metro to the maximum, just as they had done years prior with the Mini, and at the time with the SD1 Prestige, its companion model. The new car needed to capture the essence of the Metro and take it further. At the time, the Metro was billed as futuristic in line with the times. It would appear to inspire the naming scheme for the car, the Laser Metro. Wood Pickett's new Metro needed some added style to differentiate it above the norm. An external makeover was needed, but with the lack of resources at the time, it was decided to contract this out to an external provider. For the promising future of the 1980s, the same people who designed Luke Skywalker's X-34 Landspeeder were chosen, Ogle Design. With their previous work on the Mini with their own model, and the futuristic Leyland truck they were designing at the time, they were the perfect fit. For the range-topping Laser, the famed design house would redesign the bumpers of the Metro to wrap around, giving a more fluid look. Side skirts to join the front and rear bumpers, unifying the car front to rear. Even the roof wouldn't escape treatment with custom-designed roof racks added. To finish the car off, a new front grille with chrome surround, and as it was the early 80s, Wood Pickett's name would be scrawled right along the front. The Metro Plus would stay more or less the same as its original Leyland proposal, with a few enhancements and badging, providing further evidence of a link with the original Metro Plus. There were a few options added for the Plus, however. Arch extensions, alloy wheel options, and a deep chin spoiler, as well as front and rear light guards. Now the Metros had been styled, they needed the performance to match. Thankfully, the Metro with its A-Series engine would take some modifications from the world of its predecessor. Ray J turbocharging was chosen for their off-the-shelf turbocharging kits that could be modified to fit the Metro, increasing power from 60 brake horsepower to 90. This would be offered on both Laser and Plus models. The exhaust would be uprated as well to match. The interior was another marvel of the converter's attention to luxury. 8-speaker audio driven by a Pioneer KP4800 with graphic equalizer. Leather and wood trim throughout, from front to rear, even covering the luggage compartment. A complete retrim with bespoke finishing. The new half-leather trim Recaro seats at the front were heated, but that wasn't all for the Metro on the inside. At the rear, a TV with VHS was added in the centre between the passengers, and to make sure you heard your TV, additional soundproofing was added, aping the ultra-luxury Mercedes SELs by tuners like Zender. The Laser really was akin to the Minis that helped Wood Pickett build their brand. At this point, the race was on, but there was a problem. With the new Metro launching in a matter of weeks, and the goal of presenting at the 1980 Motor Show, to be launched alongside the new Metro, the Ray J turbocharger wasn't quite giving the car the boost it needed. Incredible lag would befall the car, something that Wood Pickett would try to remedy, but with the launch date looming, it was now do or die. Some minor tweaking would take place to make the car a bit more reliable, but it appeared the car would experience the same issues as the Prestige SD1, launched a year earlier. Wood Pickett would have to try to remedy this after launch like they did with the SD1. On October 8, 1980, the British car to beat the world would be launched to the general public. British Leyland's new era was upon us with the Austin Mini Metro, and a few stands away another company was also ushering in its new age. That company was Wood Pickett, and displayed prominently on their stand the Wood Pickett Laser Metro in two-tone paint. The first reactions by the public and press is that they were in awe at the sheer level of luxury that this Metro offered. It was more a spaceship than a luxury hatchback. Secondly, they were sceptical if Wood Pickett could actually pull this off. But on the face of it, it was generally accepted the car had done it. It was the Mini Margrave for the 1980s. The two-tone exterior, spoilers, matching wheels, and sheer opulence of the interior contrasted the Metro perfectly, like the Margrave had done with the Mini in the 1960s and 70s. The fanfare of the car it was based on would carry over to the new Wood Pickett models, the Metro Plus. It would be given to AutoCar and Whatcar. The Laser Metro would go on tour with dealers and be shown both in the UK and abroad in Denmark. Everything was going well at the time for the Laser, but the Plus, sadly, would become a victim of its rush to launch. Whatcar and AutoCar remarked the engine felt lazy. With the turbo cutting in at around 3,000 RPM, the engine felt lethargic at best, but they remarked it was one of the best luxury Metros of the time. Wood Pickett would partner with Henleys to deliver the conversion as part of their High Society collection. The range would be expanded in 1981 with the MG 1300 receiving the Wood Pickett treatment as well. creating the first ever MG Turbo 2 years before Austin Rover. At this point, additional customization options would be added as well, like a DeLorean grille and new headlight packages, but it was infinitely customizable as well, with a Peter Sellers style tribute appearing as well, but instead with wood panelling. A bit of an experiment, as told by those who worked there. The Metro would gain the Margrave dashboard as well, with the ashtrays from the Series 1 SD1 placed either side to finish it off. The Metro Plus would fade into obscurity, with its last advertisement being in 1981, with the Laser and MG taking over the reins. Austin Rover would launch their own MG Metro Turbo in 1983, beating out the far more expensive Wood Pickett Metros in raw power by just 3 brake horsepower. But with its far more sophisticated intake and exhaust system, electronic ECU, the MG Metro was far more refined and predictable with its power delivery. Austin Rover had finally delivered the 100 mph Metro, bringing the Metro into the hot hatch era. The Laser and its counterparts seemed an unnecessary extravagance at this point. After all, a well-optioned MG Metro Turbo would run you about £6,000 back then, and the Laser started at around £11,000 all the way up to £17,000. Another point for the Margrave was its timing. The Margrave had been launched during a time of fuel shortages, with celebrities and high society swapping their Rollers and Mercedes for something small and efficient, with a slice of luxury. The Laser unfortunately didn't have that perfect storm, and with that the Laser really did have the odds stacked against it, especially with its problematic turbo. It unfortunately wouldn't receive the same cult status as its predecessor, echoing the Metro and the Mini's duel in the lineup, with the Mini ultimately outlasting its own replacement. But the question is, how many were made and how many survive? And this is where it gets even more murky. We only have the details of a few of these cars, and some are incredibly interesting. The original British Leyland Metro Plus survives after being used in competition after it was sold privately by British Leyland. It is registered KFC 535W. The Wood Pickett Metro Plus press car registered GYN 365W is scrapped. The next car is even more interesting. The Sultan of Brunei, known for his excessive car collection, also purchased a Metro Laser. This was discovered in 2022 and still exists today, but is worse for wear, missing the front grille. The most prominent owner of a Laser was Lindsay de Paul, with what seemed to be a tribute to Peter Sellers in the wood trim on the side, which would be removed in its later years. The car would be returned to its base spec Laser, is believed to have been scrapped in the early 2010s. Its registration is AVG 430X. Another Laser exists in Denmark in a private collection. There are a few cars with unknown locations. EGP 500X, a two-tone Laser Metro, VGX 535X, another two-tone with a difference, a chopped roof. This is currently owned by an enthusiast who is restoring it. Another car is MOX 989X. This is believed to be one of the few refreshed Laser Metros for 1986, appearing in a December edition of Custom Car. The red dealer car, the original MG and the original Laser have also vanished. SLU 931W, one of the press cars, is believed scrapped. Another survivor is the Mark II MG Metro Turbo by Wood Pickett, the only one to ever be made. This was taken in by its owner to be converted at Henley's. Unfortunately, this is all we know at this time, with the Metro Laser and its related models being so obscure it has seemingly vanished. Wood Pickett sadly would not see the same repeat success as the Margrave Mini, with its Metro not nearly selling as well. After all, it was the wrong time and the wrong place. The Metro hadn't seen the same acclaim as the Mini, leaving another incredible conversion by one of history's most storied coach builders to fade into obscurity. And that is the end of the video. What is your opinion on the Laser Metro, Metro Plus and all the Wood Pickett Metros? Let me know in the comments below. Would you have owned one, and do you have any more information? But as always, thank you for watching, keep watching and remember to subscribe for more of this, and I'll see you in the next one.